What is going on, guys? My name is AK, back again with another YouTube video. Now in today's video I'll be telling you why you need to be checking the minimap at least 250 times or somewhere in that region in a game, and all of the reasons why you should be checking it, what you should be looking for, and when you should be checking it. Now this is something that's really essential, and it's definitely something that all of the pros know, and it's something that I try and do myself quite a lot, and if you're not using this properly, you're actually missing out on a whole load of vital in-game information that could change the way that you play. So definitely you're going to want to stick around to the end, you're not going to want to miss any of this. But if you do end up enjoying today's video, be sure to drop a like, and let's get straight into it. So I thought the best place to start would be actually breaking down what is all of the information that we can gather from the minimap. So to break it down simply, the minimap has three sort of main uses. The first one is telling you where the enemies are, the second one is telling you where your teammates are, and the third one is letting you know things and sort of changes to objectives. That includes things like control points being captured when the hard points are captured and get contested, as well as bomb plants in S&D. Now the first one of those points where the enemies are is the one we're going to break down first. Now this is the one that most sort of new players and sort of not very good Call of Duty players rely on. It's the only thing they look at the minimap for, and it is something that is very important, knowing exactly where the enemy are, because think of it like a perfect call out. So say someone dies the other side of the map to you and they give a call out. These call outs can be pretty good, but you don't know exactly where the enemy is. Whereas with the minimap, you know exactly where they are. So if you're saying walking around a corner or you need to challenge something, you know exactly where you need to pre-fire or pre-aim, and that should give you an advantage in a lot of gunfights. But this is something that most people know. Now for point number two, I've loaded up TAC maps, as you can see here, and this is all talking about your own team's positioning and what you can learn from that from the minimap. So take a look at this hypothetical scenario. We've got some apocalypse hardpoint here. Say we're on P1, just again a very general scenario, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of what I'm talking about. So we have to look up at the setup that we have here in mid-map. So we have this player one sitting in the top of the sort of the maps room, watching the push from the red side, from the top of the TVs, and also from the bottom of the TVs, the sort of P3 area. Then we also have this player sitting in P2 here, who is also watching that angle there, as well as potentially the push out of chickens and the push up mid-map. So a few more angles covered, but arguably player one could cover or at least call that out too. And then if we look at player 4 as well, he is also watching the push from the street there, also watching the push out of chickens, and also watching the push out at the bottom of P3 and the top of P3. Now what do you notice here? You notice a lot of people watching the same sightline. So the minimap can tell you where your sort of friendly players are watching, and so if you're on league play and maybe can't communicate this, or even if you can communicate and you want to sort of talk to your team, say why are we watching the same angle, that can be communicated, and perhaps this player 4 could turn around and instead watch the flank around the side here, or something like that. You can sort of use where your teammates are watching to work out where you need to be watching, because there's a lot of angles that people can come on Call of Duty, so making sure that you don't have 2 or more people watching the same push and instead sort of split your vision really across as many angles as possible. You're going to have the best way at sort of being able to, well in this case, hold spawns at the back here, but on whatever map or whatever mode you're playing, the best chance of actually being able to win whatever you're doing. So this is also something you're going to want to communicate with your team. If you notice that 2 people are watching the same sightline, tell them, say, someone turn around, someone watch this angle. I always talk about it, be vocal, be that in-game leader, and sort of talk to your team, let them know what they need to do, and that's going to be very helpful. But definitely it all starts from the minimap, and yeah, that point number 2, watching where your players are looking, because you do get the arrows, you do get to see where your teammates are looking, so make sure you're using that. Now for point number 3, we've headed onto the game, and I'm just going to show you all of the things that you can get from the minimap. So if we bring up the minimap in the top corner, we can see that currently it shows that there's nothing on the hardpoint, and if we hop on, it turns blue. That of course shows that we're the ones on the hardpoint. When the enemy, however, enters the hardpoint, as you can see, it turns red on the minimap, and then when you're contested, it turns red and blue. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why do I need to look at the minimap for this? Now, say you're in this position here, and the hill was just rotated, you're not really sure, well, I mean, you know where the hill is, but it's just rotated, you're not looking sort of where it needs to be, and actually to find the little indicator that shows where the hardpoint is, as you can see, it's in sort of that bottom side of the screen. You don't want to be having to look around the corners of your screen to find that. If you want really quick information, you just look up at the minimap, you see the first colour that comes to sort of to your eyes, you can see the red of the zone being there, captured by the bot that I'm playing against. It's very quick and sort of very quick. That is the main point of it. The less time that you're spending sort of looking around your screen, trying to work out where you need to be looking and who's in control of the hardpoint, the more time you can focus on actually looking to win your gunfights. Now this also goes for S&D. If neither of your bomb sites or neither of the bomb sites are sort of within your scope as a defender, say you think maybe on a big map like Miami, maybe you're far away from both the bomb sites and you're not actually sure where the bomb's going down. As you can see, when it gets planted, the A bomb, as you can see we're planting it on B here on raid, the A bomb actually disappears from the minimap and the B bomb becomes blue. So again, rather than being stuck on the one side of the map, trying to take that second or two to actually work out what bomb site is, you quickly look up at the map and I'll show you if we run away from the bomb site, that sort of stays there, stuck sort of to the corner of the minimap. So you can very quickly see what bomb site it's planted at, and then again, it's just sort of speeding up that information. Now, on control, the minimap can be used for other things. For instance, as you can see now, because the enemy player or the bot that I had there was actually contesting it, you can see on the minimap it actually starts flashing. Now, this shows you that there is someone on a point actually draining the point down. This will help you sort of repositioning, knowing that the enemy are on the point, and the moment it stops flashing, you know they're off the point. As with on the other side of things, if the control point is being attacked and maybe the red bar's moving quite slowly, if they've already got a bit of a cap, that might be quite hard to see. You can look up on the minimap and again, you'll see the point is flashing. This lets you know that there are players on the point, so you don't have to walk on and sort of worry about them being there because you'll know that they are there. Now, one small little control tip for you. This one actually isn't anything to do with the minimap, but if there's someone actually on the zone, you'll see that the sort of the outside lines start to go red. If there's no one on there, they're normally white. So you might have already known this, but if you didn't already, if you see the lines are red, that means there's someone on the point. So that's all the information that you can actually gain from the minimap. Now, when should you be looking at it? Now, I don't know if any of you guys have passed your driving test, but one thing when I was doing my driving test and sort of learning to drive, you're always told, whenever you do something, look in your mirrors. And the same works for the minimap. So whenever you spawn up, whenever you're about to take a gunfight, whenever you've just finished a gunfight, after literally you do anything on the game, quickly check your minimap. It takes a tenth of a second, and it's going to provide you with all of the important information that you need to know whether you can re-challenge a gunfight, whether you need to push the hardpoint, whether it's better to play your life. All of these decisions will be made off information that you gain in that split second looking at the minimap. So I took a little moment to write some of the most common reasons for wanting to check the minimap down. I'll just sort of read them out here. So whenever you go to challenge a gunfight, again, makes sense. You want to make sure that you're challenging one person and not the whole team. Also, after a gunfight, to know if maybe there was someone else that started shooting at you mid-gunfight. Again, from there you can decide whether you want to re-challenge if you've got lots of health or whether you're going to continue to hide. Whenever you hear gunshots nearby, quite an important one, maybe they're not shooting at you, but knowing their position, maybe the teammate doesn't know exactly where they're being shot from and so can't call it out. Again, the minimap is useful for that. Whenever your team are nearby you, especially if they're spawning up near you, you want to be seeing exactly where they're going and what they're doing, especially on League play when you can't actually communicate with a lot of people. Sort of being able to watch what they're doing on the minimap is going to give you a better idea of what you need to be doing. Again, whenever you spawn, check the minimap because off spawn, if you spawn close to the hardpoint or you spawn close to maybe someone in your back spawn trying to flip the spawns, you're going to want to know that they're straight away so you can help pick up those gunfights and you're not oblivious for the first 4 or 5 seconds after you spawn. And I finished it off by writing down literally whenever you can. It takes a split second and the amount of information that it gives you is worth another 4 players worth of callouts, and it is definitely the most important bit of the HUD. But so many people don't use the minimap and missing out on all this vital information. In fact, it was just the other day that I saw a sort of attached tweet out. I'll throw the tweet up on screen here. So he was constantly checking the minimap, as you should, and someone sort of took it on them to tweet out, why is he looking at the sort of that corner of the screen 5,000 times a game? Is he cheating or something? And I've had similar comments put on my YouTube channel. I sort of quote retweeted it with another one where someone, I think YouTube automatically deleted the comment, but he was saying that he thought I was hacking because of how often I was checking the minimap. So it made me think, why don't I do a little segment in the video where I show you a little section, about 30 seconds of the gameplay from sort of yesterday's upload. That was just sort of a league play gameplay about getting to Masters. It's a good gameplay if you want to go watch it after this video. But what we'll do is I'll show you a quick little section of that and count how many times I look at the minimap. We are like 40 points behind. We're going to try and make that back, you know. Get some hill pressure. I don't know if the rest of the team are doing amazing in the whole hill department. I'm trying my best to support them with getting kills, but it's quite hard. You can't really go around dropping 3 and 4 pieces everywhere in Masters. Now, as you can see, every time my eyes flick up into the corner, that's me quickly checking the minimap for that information. Definitely something very vital, and if you're not doing it sort of enough already, make sure you do it more. Again, try and work on doing it quickly. You don't want to sort of be staring at the minimap every time you look. You want to make it quick, you want to make it efficient, but at the same time, the amount of information that the minimap can give you, it's going to change the way you play. Now, if we extrapolate that amount of times that we check the minimap over, say, a 10-minute gameplay, as you can see, we're looking upwards of 200 to 300 times that you're going to be checking your minimap during the game. Now, this is a crazy amount of information that you're actually gaining from this, and the way it's going to affect your gameplay, actually sort of taking on the information that you see there and using it to adapt, say, maybe move to different head glitches or maybe communicate with your team. All of these things is going to be very helpful, so definitely, if you're one of these people that doesn't check it very often, make sure that you do. But I hope this has been even at least a little bit helpful for you guys, so I really appreciate if you drop a like if you enjoyed today's video. But thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.